Oh, poor men. Oh wait, I just realized Stream Elements is gone, right? So what about my chat? Okay, my chat is still there. How is it possible? You still exist. It still exists for some reason. Okay. Hmm. Just to shut down website. Sign up for their alerts, etc. and easy dashboard details. Okay. So I guess it never worked out then. I see. Hmm. That's really weird. They build your current position. Hmm. Wait, I need to prepare my stuff. Hmm. Don't worry, I'll be the viewer of your own channel. It's completely fine. Demetrius Toys. Yeah. Now it should be fine.
He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. And if you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. This is one of the most well known but least understood quotes by Friedrich Nietzsche. The big problem is that it sounds vague yet profound enough for anyone to give it any interpretation they please. In this video, we'll attempt an explanation based on Nietzsche's entire body of work and will explore just how much meaning there is to be found in such a short sentence. The answer is going to take us into the dark, uncharted depths of the human soul. So, strap in, grab some coffee, black of course, and enjoy the ride. We find this quote in Beyond Good and Evil, which is in itself a notoriously difficult book. It's also presented to us without context. The aphorism stands alone, sandwiched between two unrelated quotes about women. And Nietzsche wrote the following about the art of aphorism in general. An aphorism properly coined and cast into its final mold is far from being deciphered as soon as it has been read. On the contrary, it is then that it first requires to be expounded. Of course, for that purpose, an art of exposition is necessary. In this video, we will attempt just that, an exposition. Hopefully, the citation also makes clear that Nietzsche did mean something profound by it, and that he wasn't trying to just come up with a witty sounding quote that doesn't really mean anything. Join us as we venture deep into the darkness, into the abyss, and see what we find there. What does it mean for the abyss to gaze into you? We are going into uncharted territory here, exploring unknown lands. It's better to go prepared. And what better way to prepare yourself than by topping up?
Hmm. Wait a minute. Oh shit. Sorry for that.
I hope that this video will be useful or helpful to someone who perhaps is or was in the same situation as me, and maybe it'll give them some inspiration in terms of how they can tackle the same things that I did or something similar, and perhaps avoid some of the mistakes that I've made. I also might talk about non-technical parts of my experience at Atlassian, although most of it will be technical. And this video will be split into chapters so that you can skip to sections that are more interesting to you rather than watching the video from start to finish. So I suppose to start with, I'll talk about when I was first hired. And even though it was 8 years ago, I still remember the interview process, which is different nowadays, and the reason why I was hired, or at least from my perspective, the reason why I was hired, and the things that I started working on during the start. So yeah, let's just start at the interview process. So I was interviewed by some people that I now consider friends, and I remember remember having the impression while being interviewed that these individuals were quite intelligent, and that was something that was exciting for me. The interview process consisted of a coding quiz on HackerRank, which I aced with full marks. Then the first technical interview was with 2 interviewers, and they gave me a white paper and asked me to read it while they sat out of the room for about 10 minutes. They came back in and then asked me questions about the white paper, asked me to basically articulate what was in the white paper. And the white paper was actually about custom domains, and the white paper was by Cloudflare. They then asked me a few questions about things like microservices and architectural things like that, containers and whatnot. And they were happy enough. I don't remember the rest, but they were happy enough with me during that stage. So I continued to the second technical interview, which was a troubleshooting exercise where I was asked to essentially prompt the interviewer for information in order to troubleshoot a real incident that occurred in Atlassian. And it was an application problem that led to a denial of service. So that was fun. And then I think I was asked something about how latency-based DNS works, and my answer was not accurate, but perhaps acceptable. I thought about it from first principles, and I thought that for example, I thought that Route 53 did a triangulation based on the actual latency of the client, but it is more like that they probably use a geolocation database in order to do latency-based routing of DNS requests, of the DNS answers, sorry. Then after that was a values interview. And to be honest, I don't really remember most of the questions for the values portion, but I do remember one thing, which was when I asked the question of, I asked the interviewer to think about 12 months from now and to look back retrospectively, what is the thing that I would have had to achieve in order for you to say it was a good decision hiring this person? And then they told me about an application that they needed to be built for the platform within Atlassian, and the application would facilitate self-service load balancing, sort of similar to if you were using Amazon application load balancers or the equivalent in any cloud provider, but for the internal developers of Atlassian. And it was essentially just a framework that I personally was not familiar with. And I said I could build it because I had confidence in building web apps with Python at that time. And they accepted my level of confidence and decided to hire me. So that's the interview portion completed. So I joined Atlassian, and they have this classic saying or impression that when you join Atlassian, that you are drinking from the fire hose because there's so much information that you have to absorb in the first few weeks and months in order to just sort of get going. My very first task, at least the task that I gave myself, was to build the application that they had told me that they wanted. Let me just open a browser and we'll take a little look-see at what I mean exactly. Let me just move my face a little bit. There's more real estate. Now, obviously, Excalibur is not what I care about. So they wanted me to build an open service broker. This is a web app with an API which facilitates the provisioning of resources for a platform, essentially. So you can see here, it's sort of built to operate in a Kubernetes world where you're submitting these provisioning requests as things come up and down, and it's going to bind a resource to your pod or your cloud instance or whatever it is, as you can see here, and it sort of sits in between these real resources. So you might provision something like a database and then you'll get MySQL. So you'll get something that's SQL compatible, but that's abstracted away for your internal developers. Anyhow, the spec is here on GitHub. You can take a look at it. It goes into like, for example, the catalog endpoint. And the catalog lists all of the services and plans that are available on the OSP and just metadata about them. And you might say query the service broker and then display some of the metadata in your, maybe you've got a console like the Amazon console, but maybe you've got something like that internally where developers can click and provision things. In the Atlassian case, it was all through configuration files that were committed to, version control, and then those would be uploaded uploaded from a build server to deploy a service. But yeah, so you might have other APIs like provisioning here, so put and patch for updating and deletes and blah blah blah. So you would just basically go ahead and implement this, or I mean, if you wanted to build your own, and that is essentially what I did. You can see also there's an open API document here that has the endpoints. So I chose to build this in Python using Flask. Oh no, in fact, what I built it with first is with a library called connection. This is a Python library which takes an open API document and then creates the API handlers for the paths for the API routes that are in that document, which is cool. But then I eventually migrated that to just pure Flask, and then eventually migrated that to Fast API, which I believe is what it still is at the moment. Okay, so it's the first 2 weeks, and my primary focus is to build sort of what I promised in the interview, which is this web app that's going to be a broker for the platform and is going to allow self-service.
Okay, then let me see what else am I supposed to do then? Wait, where was it though? 7TV, right? So once done, I have imported over here. So 4 more remaining. Can I see it here? Emotes, yeah. Let me see. Oh my god, though, it's my Bihari ji. Hey, Swordfish, welcome, welcome. How are you doing? Hope everything's been going well. Hello. I hope you had your dinner. Ain't no way. Okay, oh, not this one. Wait, did I make a peak? You know what? I think I should make like a high emoji or something. So I can make like a peak plus high emoji. Wait, let me see. Peak emoji. No, not that kind of emoji. The other one. Yeah. Doing well. What about you? Had dinner? Nope. I will be having my dinner after some time. So, oh wait, this one's nice. Okay, so it's like there's gonna be a table over here somewhere. Something like this. And then there's gonna be a peak something. Oh no. How big it should be? Yeah, I think it should be like, just resize it and just draw like stupid. Something like this. So it's gonna be like, the usual peak emote that you see in like anime discords, or people, or the weep people that they use that show like they're there or something like that. So I'm also gonna make something similar, but it's also gonna be they're also gonna be a hand sign, like a raised hand kind of a thingy, to indicate like they're not only peeking but also saying hi at the same time, something like that. Wait. Okay, I'm feeling hungry right now. Lamau. What a timing, man. You actually, what I did was like make my dinner at during the evening time, but then I even ate during that time. Oh wait, what's going on? Wait, let me think on how I should be making this. Please give me a please give me some time. Riposo. Monkey. Oh, I can make one more thing. GG easy. Something like that. Maybe something like that. I'm not so sure, but wow, okay. Is this a perfect circle? Why doesn't it feel like a perfect circle? Because it looks more like a fat egg rather than a circle. Mm, you know, I shouldn't stress myself too much and just oh oh use tools to your advantage. Huh? Let's go. No, that's not what I'm supposed to make. Continuous curve. Oh, ellipse. Yes, that's the tool. It's gonna start from somewhere over here. Maybe? No, somewhere over here. Actually, it's gonna start somewhere like this, I suppose. I'm not so sure. Okay, you know what? Let it be the way it is. So, first of all, yeah, it's gonna be like this and then pointing towards um wait, how does a sphere behave in 3 dimensions? I forgot. Maybe one line goes like this, parallel, cutting the circle in half, and simply draw. Wait, I don't understand. Something like this. Hmm. Mm, should it behave like this though? Okay, I'm getting confused a little bit regarding the tilt. Actually, it should not be tilted. It should be like perfectly parallel. Something like this, and then Mhm. Does it work this way? Mm. I'm really getting confused. Mm. Ah.
Provisioning of load balancing in Atlassian. So, like I mentioned earlier, I started with this library called Connection, which took an Open API document, turned that into routes. But I'm going to just go with what is.
Man, it's so technical, man.
G'day, guys and gal. You may have heard some spicy lore that just dropped. That Tybros the Redwake, chapter master of the Space Sharks, was seriously injured. His armor torn apart, and he's fighting for his life. If you read between the lines, this is basically code for Tybros is about to become a Primaris, thus an even chonkier boy, which also means he will get a new model, which, thank God, his old one sucks ass. Now I could pretend to be Valrak and somehow manage to make a nearly 10-minute video about this brief piece of lore, but he's already done that, so instead I thought it would be cool to just look at how each of the main chapter masters we all know and love became Primaris Marines. After all, their circumstances for ascension was not always a clean surgery, often it was the only solution, beyond a dreadnought that would save them from their mortal wounds. Before we get started, while it would be a tactical move to promote the major mini Shark Marines, considering the topic of this video, after all, if there is a new Tybros model coming, you'll need some of his brothers to back him up. However, instead, I want to talk about Natty Plus. The reason I built Natty Plus from the ground up, instead of just taking the easy route and drop shipping, is because the philosophy behind Natty Plus was supplements that work. Every ingredient we used was put under maximum scrutiny and was cross-referenced between scientific studies. I created supplements that I wished existed, and that is why we have the blood work to prove our supplements actually work. You like drinking but your liver doesn't? The liver support can bring your liver enzymes from dangerous levels to healthy levels. You like sugary, delicious, high-carb food, but your insulin and blood glucose is creeping up, putting you at risk of diabetes? The blood sugar management can knock that shit right back down into healthy athlete levels. Your estrogen is getting too high because you're taking TRT or HCG? No worries. Estrogen reduction can bring you back into the sweet spot. You have low testosterone? We have multiple people getting insane increases on the ultimate testosterone support. The reason why Natty Plus works so well and other supplement brands never produce the blood work despite all their bullshit AI-generated ad claims is because we only use a science-backed multi-pathway formula, meaning we target almost every single potential issue that could cause the poor biomarkers like low testosterone or bad cholesterol and so on. I know my subs are expensive, but that is because it is expensive to make them, mixing all those active ingredients in their most bioavailable forms. But it still is actually cheaper than buying all of those active ingredients separately. The good news is we're running a 25% off Valentine's sale. Just use code Valentine25. This stacks with sub and save and bundle discounts. So if you wanted to try a supplement that actually...
Let me search YouTube and check.
Today we'll go over the wounding of Tybros, what this means for him, and how the other cool chapter masters became Primaris Marines. Let's get into it. Okay, so obviously starting with the big Shark Daddy. In the new Space Shark short story, that's a fucking tongue twister, Tybros is collecting a tithe on a Mechanicus Forge world as per their agreement to rearm the chapter. However, the tank he was dealing with was secretly a little fucking chaos bitch that had joined the Dark Mechanicum, so he unleashed a force of Rust Stalkers on Tybros, which are more or less elite Mechanicus assassins. Tybros kills the Rust Stalkers, but his armor is torn apart and he himself almost dies. Now the short story doesn't then just say, Tybros becomes Primaris. For all we know, he could die of his wounds or become a dreadnought. However, GW aren't dumb fucks that like to subvert expectations by ruining the narrative or characters. Looking at you, Game of Thrones. They are aware Tybros is extremely popular, as are the Space Sharks. They are also aware Tybros' model sucks ass and is no longer in production, whilst he also has some of the best third-party minis out there, like Shark Daddy, obviously. So it's the biggest no-brainer on the planet to release a new Tybros mini, and why not do it in Primaris style? It makes sense, Tybros would be too busy and traditional to elect to have the Primaris surgery voluntarily, so doing it out of necessity fits the bill more. In a similar fashion, Titus walked off a Carnifex arm through his chest with Primaris surgery, so Tybros should be able to come back from some little Mechanicus fucks in a similar manner. This begs the question, how large will this make Tybros? Well, Tybros was a head taller than his elite Terminator Honor Guard, and is always described as absolutely fucking massive. The Honor Guard would have been around 9 feet tall in their armor, being from a chapter based on Islanders, who are big fucking units to begin with, being the chosen of the chapter, which also just makes them larger due to the rule of cool, and Terminator armor adds notable height. So that makes makes Tybros around 10 feet or slightly more. However, Primaris are about 15% taller than firstborn Marines, so applying that to Tybros, if he goes through the surgery, he'll end up being about 11 to 12 feet tall, which puts him at the low end of the Primarch height range, aka an absolute fucking Goliath. I really hate how people have framed Tybros' height thing as stupid meme lore. I've just done the maths for you, and he is massive, and he's about to become even bigger. It is not unheard of for the occasional Space Marine to be retardedly large. Alexis Pollux unnerved Gilliman during the Heresy, as Gilliman didn't have to look down to meet his eyes. Other Space Marines likewise are very large, 9 to 10 feet. Think about it like this. Imagine you turned Kid Shaquille O'Neal into a Space Marine. The dude is over 7 feet as a mortal. Space Marines gain roughly 30% extra height on average from becoming a Space Marine versus if they stayed as a mortal. So Shaq would end up being over 9 feet tall out of armor as a Space Marine firstborn. Then adding armor and the Primaris upgrade, he'd be over 10 or even 11 feet. There are plenty of people on Earth over 7 feet tall. If we expand into a galactic scale, there would be trillions of them, with millions or billions at 8 feet or taller as genetic freaks. So there being the occasional Tybros walking around is not only lore-friendly, but inevitable. TLDR, Ligma Balls, Tybros is huge. But yeah, that is the mother of all getting sidetracked, but basically, I think we will see Tybros as a Primaris very soon, and we can see how GW ends up scaling him. Next up, we have Dante. Dante wasn't super stoked about becoming a Primaris. The meme that Dante just wants to fucking die isn't a meme at all. The dude craves death more than I crave a Latina-only orgy. He only resists death because his literal dead dad briefly returns from beyond the veil to tell him not to neck himself. During the devastation of Baal, Dante gave it his all, killed the Swarm Lord, and was brutally wounded in return. He was only holding on by sheer will given to him by Sanguinius, and despite not really wanting to become a Primaris to survive, he did it out of duty and a promise to Sanguinius. Thus he returned, physically reinvigorated but still very depressed. See, the Primaris physiology is superior to the firstborn, and the surgery to become a Primaris can save their lives in emergency situations as it contains 3 new organs. The first 2 just make the Marine bigger and stronger, however the third organ activates an emergency life support system, allowing the Marine to push themselves beyond death in a final act of last stand, or in this case, keep them alive long enough for their body to heal itself. It's this third organ, the Belisarian Furnace, which has turned the Primaris surgery into an alternative to dreaded interment. Mephiston likewise became a Primaris, however he did so voluntarily. He did have a near-death experience which caused him to merge further with the Dark Angel of Baal, making him even more powerful upon his awakening, and 10 times more scary. However, not every chapter master became a Primaris out of desperation. Sometimes it was strategic. Marnius Calgar elected to have the surgery, being the first Space Marine to do so. See, Gilliman wanted to integrate the Primaris into all the Loyalist chapters, but it literally created a strange class system. These new fancy Marines were seemingly to replace the Firstborn, who had been humanity's defenders for 10,000 years without Primarch support. It caused a shitload of issues, and some chapters even wanted to reject the Primaris. Some even begun a civil war over it. The surgery to turn a Space Marine into a Primaris hadn't been done before, however it would be the solution to the issue, as it meant there would eventually be no Primaris and Firstborn, merely Space Marines. Marnius, as a show of faith and to lead by example, chose to become the first. The surgery fucking sucked, and he died. But he survived. Arising is the first to undergo the surgery in this new invigorated form. Soon after this, the surgery was perfected, and now the mortality rate from it is very low. Although it would be hilarious if some absolute Giga Chad fan favorite chapter master underwent the surgery and just bled out on the operating table. Unless it's Tybros or anyone I like, then that would be shit as. My god, if that's how Kaldor Drago died, I would laugh until I bled. The Dark Angels were very hesitant about the Primaris. They are secretive as shit, and now had been flooded with new Marines who had no idea what a Fallen was. This caused quite the ruckus within the chapter, until, unceremoniously, Azrael voluntarily underwent the surgery and came out the other side. At a similar time, the Primaris proved themselves as Dark Angels and were embraced, thus ending the division. Likewise, the Space Wolves were very hesitant about the Primaris as they were not sons of Fenris. However, stories of their bravery and wolf-like nature reached Logan, who decided that the Primaris could do a modified trial of Morkai to bind them with Fenris, thus becoming true Space Wolves. Now, interestingly enough, the new Space Wolf models were not explicitly stated to be Primaris, so we don't actually know 100% if Logan is a Primaris or not. This is a part of GW's overall strategy to just slowly make Space Marines again, instead of Primaris or Firstborn. You can see other evidence of this attitude via the Stern Guard veterans who blurred the line, as well as the new Terminator models just being called Terminators, not Primaris Terminators. Now Logan probably is a Primaris. The surgery is very safe and refined, and those 3 extra organs are handy. However, unless the surgery is specifically used to save the Marine's life, I don't think it will get mentioned as much anymore. It just sort of becomes an assumption. When Gilliman came to the Black Templars, he was pretty concerned about how they would accept the Primaris. After all, they were fanatical to the Emperor. If they deemed something not of the Emperor's design, they would reject it violently. However, Helbrecht is actually somewhat of a conduit for the Emperor's will, and receives accurate visions here and there. He can also sense the vibe pretty well, so he was able to see the Primaris as the Emperor's will and readily accept them. Soon after this, he voluntarily became a Primaris, which made his visions even clearer. Make no mistake, the Emperor was extremely down with the Primaris. Much of Belisarius Caul's work to create the Primaris was literally just finding notes and technologies left behind by the Emperor. Now, GW ties in the Primaris lore of chapter masters and characters alongside the release of their new models. Dante became a Primaris the day his Primaris model dropped. Same goes for Azrael, Kalga, and Helbrecht. It's also why we haven't seen any lore regarding Asterion Malok becoming a Primaris yet, despite him being the attack dog of the High Lords and one of the first men to get access to the technology. They will not claim him to be a Primaris while his model is still that of a smaller firstborn. However, once again, if they follow the trend of the recent Space Wolf refresh, this may be the end of this guy's back as a Primaris and more of a this guy's back because his old model looks fucking shit, but we will see. Tybros will be the true test. Will GW restrain themselves and only make a small mention to the Primaris surgery saving Tybros, or will the Warhammer community article prop him up as a giant now that he is a Primaris and specifically highlight the height increase? I hope they do, to be honest. Fuck the haters, give me Primarch sized Tybros. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up a Natty Plus supplement. 25% off on top of bundle and sub and save discounts. Code Valentine25. Best chance to try and see the difference. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more girthy content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Bow to me.
Hmm. Wait, what? I need to see this.
Did you know that sacrificing one full rotation just to build a massive 3-stack nuke is actually a damage loss overall, despite how popular this setup currently is across the community? Each Snowforge blade stack adds close to an extra 800% multiplier to Liberation 2, which means using 2 stacks across 2 separate rotations gives more total scaling than delaying your first burst window just to reach 3 stacks later on. The bigger number might look better for showcases or screenshots, but in actual gameplay, it's less damage. So in this guide, I want to break down how Hyuki's kit actually works, the best way to play her standard and advanced rotations, and why her long-term value might end up being even higher once more Glacier Chief units release in the future. At her core, Hyuki is a liberation-focused DPS, built around 2 different states, her normal form and her enhanced purple form. During her normal state, you first build the Arrow Forte bar in order to unlock the enhanced form. Once you transition into it, the Forte bar changes into the Katana Forte bar, which later transforms into the Sakura Forte bar while cycling through her skills and attacks to finish the rotation. In her normal state, your goal is to fill the Arrow Forte bar in order to unlock Liberation 1. One important thing to keep in mind is that basic 3, where Hyuki spins and slashes with her sword, generates 1 full arrow stack by itself, while using her skill and then holding basic immediately afterwards triggers another basic Keep in mind is that basic 3, where Hyuki spins and slashes with her sword, generates one full arrow stack by itself, while using her skill and then holding basic immediately afterwards triggers another basic 3, which generates 2 arrow stacks instead. Her intro skill also plays a huge role in how fast she builds the arrow forte bar. For the standard rotation, using her intro immediately gives Hyuki 2 arrow stacks and places her straight into basic 3, generating the final third stack and letting her instantly complete the arrow forte bar. For the advanced rotation specifically, another useful interaction is that swapping into Hyuki during combat also places her directly into basic 3 even without intro available, automatically generating 1 arrow stack. This interaction becomes extremely important later on for smoothing out the advanced combo flow. Once the arrow forte bar is fully completed, Hyuki can use a heavy attack to unlock Liberation 1 and transition into her enhanced purple form where the majority of her damage happens. In this state, the forte bar changes into the katana forte bar and your goal is now to build up 3 blue crossed swords stacks. The easiest way to build is by using her skill twice. From there, continue through enhanced basic 1 to basic 5 to fully complete the forte bar and unlock the remaining sword stacks needed for her yai slashes. There are also other ways to build the katana forte bar, including her heavy counter and aerial attacks during the enhanced form. So overall it doesn't really matter how you mix those attacks together as long as you generate the sword stacks as quickly as possible. Once these sword stacks are ready, Hyuki can activate her yai slashes either by dodging after an enhanced basic attack, which places her into a draw stance, or by holding her skill to immediately enter the stance in the air. From there, you can chain up 3 yai slashes in succession to consume all sword stacks you generated. After using the 3 yai slashes, the forte bar transforms into the Sakura forte bar, allowing Hyuki to use an enhanced heavy attack. That heavy attack generates another Stoneforge blade stack for Liberation 2, while her inherit skill already gives her 1 stack by default, meaning you'll usually have 2 stacks available during a normal rotation. The way Liberation 2 consumes those stacks is also very important. If you simply tap the Liberation, Hyuki will either consume all 3 stacks immediately if they are available or use none at all. But if you hold the Liberation instead, you can manually consume 1 or 2 stacks, which is usually the better option for consistent damage. Since each stack adds close to an extra 800% multiplier to Liberation 2, using 2 stacks across 2 separate rotations gives more total scaling than sacrificing 1 full rotation just to reach 3 stacks later on. In most situations, I'd strongly recommend consistently using 2-stack Liberation instead. And finally, the last major mechanic tied to Hyuki's kit is Glacial Chief, which later converts into Glacial Bite. For simplicity, these are basically connected together since Glacial Bite is the additional damage triggered after applying Glacial Chief stacks. This part of a kit becomes especially important because her passive scales depending on how many teammates in the party can apply either Glacial Chief or Havoc Bane. With 1 passive stack, Hyuki gains 30% additional Glacial Bite amplification alongside 40% crit damage. At 2 stacks, every Glacial Chief application starts triggering even more Glacial Bite damage, which is why Chisa becomes such an important teammate for her current teams. And eventually, once you get the 3rd unit capable of applying Glacial Chief or Havoc Bane, Hyuki will be able to fully maximize the passive at 3 stacks for another 30% Glacial Bite amplification. And finally, Hyuki's outro skill gives a 20% glacial damage amplification against enemies affected by Glacial Chief, which is another reason why her long-term potential looks extremely strong. Right now, she already works as a main DPS, but her kit also clearly has the foundation to work as a future Glacial sub DPS depending on what Kuro releases later on. Hyuki currently has 3 main rotations depending on the type of content you are doing. The standard rotation was basically everywhere and is the safest overall option, especially for content like Whimpering Waste. The single target rotation is mainly designed for Tower of Adversity and holograms because it keeps Hyuki in the air much more often while also avoiding the longer animations from basic 4 and 5 during her purple form. And finally, the advanced rotation is her highest damage setup, mainly because it fits perfectly inside shorter outer buff windows while also allowing Hyuki to perform 4 yai slashes on 3. Starting with the standard rotation, you first want to intro into Hyuki, which immediately gives her 2 arrow stacks and places her straight into basic 3 for the final stack. From there, use a heavy attack to consume the arrow forte bar and unlock Liberation 1, transitioning Hyuki into her purple form. Once you enter the purple form, the easiest way to build the katana forte bar is by using skill twice before continuing through enhanced basic 1 to basic 5 in order to generate the 3 cross sword stacks. then dash to meaning you'll use stacks needed for her yai slashes. There are also other ways to build the Katana Forte bar, including her heavy counter and aerial attacks during the enhanced form. So overall it doesn't really matter how you mix those attacks together as long as you generate the sword stacks as quickly as possible. Once these sword stacks are ready, Hyuki can activate her yai slashes either by dodging after an enhanced basic attack, which places her into a draw stance, or by holding her skill to immediately enter the stance in the air. From there, you can chain up 3 yai slashes in succession to consume all sword stacks you from there to a draw stance, or by holding her skill to immediately enter the stance in the air. From there, you can chain up 3 yai slashes in succession to consume all sword stacks you generated. After using the 3 yai slashes, the Forte bar transforms into the Sakura Forte bar, allowing Hyuki to use an enhanced heavy attack. That heavy attack generates another Stoneforge blade stack for Liberation 2, while her inherit skill already gives her 1 stack by default, meaning you'll usually have 2 stacks available during a normal rotation. The way Liberation 2 consumes those stacks is also very important. If you simply tap the Liberation, Hyuki will either consume all 3 stacks immediately if they are available, or use tap deliberation, Hyuki will either consumes those stacks is also very important. If you simply tap deliberation, Hyuki will either consume all 3 stacks immediately if they are available, or use none at all. But if you hold deliberation instead, you can manually consume 1 or 2 stacks, which is usually the better option for consistent damage. Since each stack adds close to an extra 800% multiplier to Liberation 2, using 2 stacks across 2 separate rotations gives more total scaling than sacrificing 1 full rotation just to reach 3 stacks later on. In most situations, I strongly recommend consistently using 2 stacks. An extra 800% multiplier to Liberation is also very important. If you simply tap deliberation, Hyuki will either consume all 3 stacks immediately if they are available, or use none at all. But if you hold deliberation instead, you can manually consume 1 or 2 stacks, which is usually the better option for consistent damage. Since each stack adds close to an extra 800% multiplier to liberation, 2, using 2 stacks across 2 separate rotations gives more total scaling than sacrificing 1 full rotation just to reach 3 stacks later on. In most situations, I'd strongly recommend consistently using 2 stack liberation instead. And finally, the last major mechanic tied to Hyuki's kit is Glacial Chief, which later converts into Glacial Bite. For simplicity, these are basically connected together since Glacial Bite is the additional damage triggered after applying Glacial Chief stacks. This part of a kit becomes especially important because her passive scales depending on how many teammates in that party can apply either Glacial Chief or Havoc Bane. With 1 passive stack, Hyuki gains 30% additional Glacial Bite amplification alongside 40% crit damage. At 2 stacks, every Glacial Chief application starts triggering even more Glacial Bite damage, which is why Chisa becomes such an important teammate for her current teams. And eventually, once you get the 3rd unit capable of applying Glacial Chief or Havoc Bane, Hyuki will be able to fully maximize the passive at 3 stacks for another 30% Glacial Bite amplification. And finally, Hyuki's outro skill gives a 20% Glacial damage amplification against enemies affected by Glacial Chief, which is another reason why her long-term potential looks extremely strong. Right now, she already works as a main DPS, but her kit also clearly has the foundation to work as a future Glacial sub DPS depending on what Kuro releases later on. Hyuki currently has 3 main rotations depending on the type of content you are doing. The standard rotation was basically everywhere and is the safest overall option, especially for content like Whimpering Waste. The single target rotation is mainly designed for Tower of Adversity and holograms because it keeps Hyuki in the air much more often while also avoiding the longer animations from basic 4 and 5 during her purple form. And finally, the advanced rotation is her highest damage setup, mainly because it fits perfectly inside shorter outer buff windows while also allowing Hyuki to perform 4 yai slashes instead of the normal 3. Starting with this standard rotation, you first want to intro into Hyuki, which immediately gives her 2 arrow stacks and places her straight into basic 3 for the final. instead of the normal 3. Starting with the standard rotation, you first want to intro into Hyuki, which immediately gives her 2 arrow stacks and places her straight into basic 3 for the final stack. From there, use a heavy attack to consume the arrow forte bar and unlock Liberation 1, transitioning Hyuki into her purple form. Once you enter the purple form, the easiest way to build the katana forte bar is by using skill twice before continuing through enhance basic 1 to basic 5 in order to generate the 3 cross sword stacks. Then dash to enter the draw stance and perform all 3 yai slashes. After the third slash, the forte bar transforms into the Sakura forte bar, allowing Hyuki to use the enhanced heavy attack afterwards. And finally, hold Liberation 2 in order to consume both Snowforge blade stacks before outro to the next unit. Now for the single target rotation, the beginning stays mostly identical until you enter Hyuki's enhanced form. But instead of continuing through the grounded enhanced basics, you now use skill once before going into mid-air basic 1 to 3 until Hyuki performs the plunge attack. After that, repeat the sequence stays mostly identical until you enter Hyuki's enhanced single target rotation, the beginning stacks before outro to the next unit. In order to consume both, use the enhanced heavy attack afterwards. And finally, hold Liberation 2 in order to consume both Snowforge blade stacks before outro to the next unit. Now for the single target rotation, the beginning stays mostly identical until you enter Hyuki's enhanced form. But instead of continuing through the grounded enhanced basics, you now use skill once before going into mid-air basic 1 to 3 until Hyuki performs the plunge attack. After that, repeat the sequence one more time with another skill into mid-air basics. At that point, the katana forte bar should already be fully completed, so from there, you repeat the same ending as the standard rotation. This version is generally much safer for bosses because Hyuki spends significantly more time airborne while also avoiding the slower enhanced basic 4 and 5 animations completely. Now the advanced rotation is where Hyuki's optimization becomes more time airborne while also avoiding the slower enhanced basic 4 and 5 animations completely. Now the advanced rotation is where Hyuki's optimization becomes much deeper. This setup is designed specifically to fit into shorter outro buff windows like Linea's 14 seconds liberation buff while also allowing Hyuki to perform 4 yai slashes instead of the normal 3. Because of that, I highly recommend starting the fight with Hyuki already on field when doing endgame content. This setup begins by using skill and then immediately holding basic afterwards in order to trigger basic 3 and instantly generate 2 arrow stacks. After that, you swap into your support to do their rotation normally. In my case, with Chisa, I usually swap out right before the chainsaw animation starts since it saves some time, but realistically, you can do this with almost any teammate as long as your swap happens before intro back to Hyuki. Once you return to Hyuki during combat, she immediately enters basic 3 again, generating the final arrow stack. From there, use heavy attack into Liberation 1 and immediately swap back out into your supports again to finish the rotation before finally intro into Hyuki's enhanced purple form. At this point, your real burst window starts and you now have 14 seconds to fit Hyuki's entire combo inside the Linea's outro buff duration. Start by going through enhance basic 1 to 3, then dash cancel the animation of basic 3. After that, repeat enhance basic 1 to 3 again, but this time you cancel basic 3 with tune break instead of dashing. This part is important, but then dash cancel the animation of basic 3. After that, repeat enhance basic 1 to 3 again, but this time you cancel basic 3 with tune break instead of dashing. This part is important because using tune break here not only cancels the animation faster, but also activates any tune break related buffs from teammates like Monie right before Hyuki's highest damage part of the rotation. On top of that, after tune break finishes, Hyuki immediately enters basic 3 again, generating a huge amount of katana forte and helping fully set up the 4th yai slash later on. At that point, hold skill to cancel the new basic 3 animation, enter the aerial draw stance, and perform 1 aerial yai slash. This part is extremely important because without the aerial yai slash, the katana forte bar overfills and wastes resources. After the aerial yai slash, use skill again to return back to the ground before continuing through basic 1 to 3 once more, then hold basic for a heavy counter. At this point, you should now have all 3 crossed sword stacks available on the katana forte bar, 1 brighter white stack and 2 purple ones. From there, dash into draw stance, perform all 3 yai slashes, hold basic for the enhanced heavy to consume the Sakura Forte bar, and finally hold the Liberation 2 to finish the burst window. Afterwards, use skill into hold basic for basic 3 once more to immediately generate 2 arrow stacks again before outro and repeating the rotation loop from the beginning. If you've been enjoying the guide so far, consider subscribing for more deep dive like this, and if you're watching on mobile, hyping it during the first days generally pushes it to more players and helps the channel grow. For Hiyuki's skill priority, max out her Liberation first, since that's where most of her damage comes from. After that, focus on basic attacks and Forte because they are both directly tied to her rotation and scaling. And finally, her Resonance and Intro skill can stay lower since they mainly exist to keep the rotation flowing rather than deal meaningful damage. Wishes of Quiet Snowfall is Hiyuki best in slot echo set since it synergizes perfectly with her kit, giving her 20% glacier damage and up to 25% crit rate during her rotation, while her main echo adds another 12% glacier damage and 12% liberation damage on top of that. What makes this set especially strong is how easy Hiyuki becomes to build afterwards. Because the set already gives so much crit rate, you only need around 2 to 3 crit rate rolls across your echoes before buffs, which lets you focus much harder on crit damage rolls instead. It can still take time to get high crit damage pieces, but overall, Hiyuki is one of the easiest DPS units to optimize once you have this, but harder on crit damage rolls around 2 to build afterwards. Because the set already gives so much crit rate, you only need around 2 to 3 crit rate rolls across your echoes before buffs, which lets you focus much harder on crit damage.
Crit damage, I see how it is. Okay, that makes sense now. I see. I have no idea what's really going on, but okay. Weird chat. I mean, weird wannabe chat.
Instead, it can still take time to get high crit damage pieces, but overall, Hiyuki is one of the easiest DPS units to optimize once you have the correct setup. On top of that, the set also grants 25% glacier damage buff to the next incoming resonance.
Apply. To snowfall, it's kind of elegant. Oh, 15 throughout draw. Okay. 20% and 25% crit rate. That's actually really nice. I should have put crit damage then. Moloch. They don't have a nose, right? Or they have like super duper small nose over there. Man, I forgot how to draw GB. You know what? Let's keep it like this for now. I think I should raise that. Raise that level a little bit higher. Yeah, I think that's better. Hopefully everything goes well. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do, what I'm doing right now, but let's keep going then. Oh my gosh, it's Rika. Hello, Rika. Good morning. How are you feeling? Hope you had a good sleep. Lurking while I read. Oh, okay. What are you reading, by the way? I can I can't hear you, but I hope you're having fun. Wait, am I not audible? Yeah, I think. Wait, let me see. Yeah, it shows like it's working fine. Yeah, it only reaches to that limit. Wait, is there like a lot of background noise, or my voice is simply low? Is that what you're saying? Oh my gosh. Why am I getting like hype train alert from random people? What the hell? Wait, am I really audible though? I don't think I am audible. Wait, what? Let me test then. Hello? Yeah, it is audible. I have no idea why. That's really weird. Wait, let me check my stream then if it's like way inaudible or something. Is it me or is it the mic issue? Let me. Wait, I am audible though. I think I should be really close to my mic. I guess that's why. I'm like literally, I can literally touch the mic with my tongue. That's how close it is. Wait, do people even have their mics this close? Or am I the only one? It feels weird, man. Like having your mic literally by the side of your mouth. Or did I do some mistake on setting up my mic? That's also a possibility. Wait, then how do people even talk? Like I've seen like other people talk like with their mic like feet away from their mouth and still they sound like really nice, but I don't know why I have to keep myself really close to the mic. Oh man. You know what? Let me do something. Oh, what is this? Let I'm gonna be changing something around. Try to do this way. Actually, I have to like wash my stand and mic and it's like a little dirty. I need to fix this. This part maybe to make sense now. Oh wait, let him cook. I think this is way better. This is a way better setup in my opinion. Okay, this is a way more spacious. Now I need this thing closer to my mouth like this, I suppose. Is it better now? Yeah, it should be better. I changed the position of my mic in a very certain way. It's like hanging position. Okay, anyways, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do, but let me. Hopefully, this is better. My mic should be near when I'm like using this pose. Hopefully, this is better. Yeah, I think I'm feeling a little more comfortable now, but still having it like shoved on my face. It's like a real weird feeling. Okay, fuck. Let me have my dinner. I am feeling way too hungry at this point. Where is my text? No, this is not the text. Yeah. Man, I think I should be making like a BRB screen too, but give me a minute. Okay, I'm back with my food. Let's go. Yeah. What was I doing that? Yeah. I like this setup more. Nice. RK, your text is still on. Oh my gosh. Really, thank you for the reminder, Rika. How do I close this? Yep. Now it shouldn't be visible. Again, thank you for that. I'm really sorry for that. But let's continue. Okay, so it's gonna be peak emote, but also like greetings emote at the same time. So I'm gonna be making her left hand like raised up. But it seems like I don't have enough space over here. What should I even do? Should I move the entire thing? Yeah, you know what? Let's move this entire thing like a little bit over here. Something like this. Yeah. Okay. Okay, how the raised hand's gonna be like? Something like this. Is it gonna be good? I am not so sure if it's gonna look good enough. What should I do? It's getting a little confusing. Is the hand too high? You know what? Let me make it properly, you know. Let me lower the opacity a little bit. And also the face a little bit so I can draw my hands easily. It's gonna be like this. Lama. I just almost forgot I don't know how to draw hands, bro. But let's just it's too long. Let's assume it to be this way. Does it look good though? Or should I like move? Cancel. Should I be moving this hand? What's the left a little bit? Does it make it better? What about this one? Is it too high? Usually chibis have like really short limbs, right? So accordingly, oh my gosh. Hi. Wait. No. It's doing the symbol. No. It's doing the symbol. Oh my gosh. That was really close. I cannot even show my high emote properly. Like, what the hell? Actually, it isn't showing that symbol, the forbidden symbol. I think it's good the way it is. Yeah. That symbol should have been like at an angle of 45 degrees. So hmm. Hmm. Hi. Let me see. Hi. Okay, that's even way more forbidden. Wait, it's gotta be at a lower level. Let's put it near eye level. Okay. Okay, that makes more sense. Actually, this is way better in my opinion. Should I make it closer to the eye? No. Yeah, I think this position is way better. Actually, I think it should be even shorter. Yeah, something like this. Too short. Yeah, maybe this height should be okay enough. Yeah, something like this. Oh, I can make it like a star shape for those hands. Okay. You know what? I think I like it. I am content with how it looks. So, remove this. Now, let's draw a proper clean line art on top of it. Let me put everything in like inside the folder. Rough. And this is gonna be like a clean line art now. Decrease everything. Nice. Actually, that does smell like mustard. Okay. Hmm. This line with narrow by one, I suppose. Actually, way better. Let's go. Hmm. My character don't look like chibi at all. What the hell? Weird hand, okay. Nice. It's gonna be like a really small hand. Just a tiny little hand. That's it. Hmm. Wait, how does it actually work? Middle one gonna be on top over here. Yeah, and then just simply connect them like this. Oh my gosh! I just realized those fingers over there are like really large. Maybe I should tone them down a bit. Maybe like this. Aren't they too small though? Why does it feel like they're a little too small? Yeah, I think this size is good enough. Oh. Gonna be a little too big. Oh my gosh. I like the way it looks. It looks really cute. Welcome back, Rika. I can hear you now. Let's go. From what I checked, I was like already audible. Oh yeah, like actually I did change my mic setup a little bit. I have it like it's like positioned in a way like it's dangling from the stand, in a way like it's near my mouth most of the time. So I guess that's the reason why you can hear me better now. By that I meant I couldn't hear you. I wasn't saying you're muted. No. Like that. I mean I wasn't really muted. I saw that. It's just that usually if you weren't able to hear things, it was because of my distance between me and my mic. So the setup was also in such a way like my face was like almost more than or around like 15 centimeters away from my mic. Now I made the setup in such a way like it's almost, I can like literally lick the mic. That's how my face is. That's how near my mic is at the moment, which is a little weird because I don't know why I have to be like this close to mic in order to sound clearly. I just don't understand. But right now I think it's fine, right? You can add filters to your mic to make it louder. Yeah, I already followed a lot of tutorials and stuff regarding setting up your mic and all, but I don't know why it's working this way. My mic is turned up by like 25 decibels. Yeah. I mean, for me, my bass mic properties, where is it? What are the filters? Yeah, I have like filters and everything like on at the moment. Should I increase my open threshold? Yeah, I have like set up my noise gate and everything. Expander, compressor, limiter. Yeah, like everything's the way it is. The mic is turned up by like 25 decibels since my voice is so quiet. You sound fine. Yeah, I mean, I do sound fine, but it's because my face is literally like an inch away from the mic. You did it twice. Yeah. Man, I have the memory of a goldfish. This phenomena has been occurring more commonly nowadays. I have no idea why. That's not a good sign, I suppose. Wait, let me check over here. Sound. Where's that sound? Yeah. Recording. Wait, why suddenly? Oh, I didn't know, like, rockers. Okay. Microphone array. Okay, what is the properties for this? Levels. Advanced. Listen. Yeah, my microphone is like at max level. Yeah, I think it's probably the limiter that I put over here. Oh. Okay, it only goes to like minus 18 decibels. But why? Pretty high. I mean, it's not supposed to be high because I put limiters, like, I put the noise gate in such a way like it won't go that high. So I don't really have an idea of how this thing operates. I just watched a tutorial on how to set up your mic and OBS, and that's what I followed. This is how it came out to be. If you have like any other setup and settings for your mic, do let me know. Like I wanna try like other settings too. But yeah, I think I need to like look for some kind of a setting where even if I'm like a really far from my mic, I still sound like I'm near to it. Yeah, that's what I do. Setup depends on your voice, so my may not work for everyone. Yeah, that's also true. Or maybe my mic is also different. Like my mic is like the one on the cheap end, so it might not be the best mic. So that's also probably the reason. Okay, suddenly I have an irresistible urge to eat some peanut butter. Okay, so you know what, let me move this thing a little bit. It's gonna be making a lot of sound, so please give me a minute. Okay, this is a more comfortable position, although I cannot lean forward because of the position of my mic. I have to like change it again. But at least I can relax and draw. I think that's on the wrong layer. It's gonna be something like this. And now to finalize this, I need to I'll just simply use this line over here, a straight line. Yes. I should be doing on a separate layer. Wait a minute. Yes, much better. And then I'll erase it appropriately without actually harming the one that I drew on. Close this. Okay, I think it's fine. Okay, this looks really cute in my opinion. Let's freaking go. Now, time to draw. No, actually, it's time to color. Let's go. Let me use this reference over here. This one. Yes. Yeah, I think everything's lined up properly. Oh, I see something over here. Why you do this to me? Okay, now it should be fine. Wait. Hmm. I have to go to do laundry, but I'll be lurking. Okay. Good luck with your work then. I'll be continuing coloring my thing over here. Yeah, I need to explain this big area. Much better. Okay, hardness gonna be big, yes. He looks like a blind girl. I gotta change that. Good enough? Good enough. And with this, I think the pepega mode is done. Oh, actually, yeah. Hmm. low density a bit. Mhm. Hmm. Hmm. I think it's done. I think it's good enough. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna end my stream now because I think I'm done with this emoji over here. Let's go. So I'll be thinking what I'll be drawing next tomorrow. I should like immediately go to sleep after this. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So see you all 24 hours from now. No, more like 21 hours from now. Yep, that's how it's gonna be. Thank you and bye bye.